Hi everyone, my name is Michael Yuasa and I'm the founder of Antarctic. Antarctic is a digital agency based in New York City that specifically focuses on working with nonprofits and helping them raise more money online. In this presentation, I'm going to be walking through a year-end giving campaign strategy or outline that we use with the majority of our nonprofits that we work with that has proven to increase the amount of donations and increase the amount of donors during the holiday giving season. A little more about us. We really want to work with organizations that are making efforts in the name of humanity, that are giving back, and that's our big focus here. Some of the nonprofits we've worked with are Compassion International, Ronald McDonald House Charities, and SAGE, which is Services for Elderly LGBT. So by the end of this presentation, a couple things we'd like you to walk away with, or that I would like you to walk away with, are the fundamental benchmarking and analytics setup for a successful year-end giving campaign, the year-end campaign elements, so basic elements that go into making a solid year-end campaign that people want to give to. We have an easy-to-use kind of year-end fundraising campaign template that you can use for your organization to track everything that you're doing this year and reference it next year. And then I'm going to show an example of a successful year-end campaign that you can show internally to your peers. So let's start with results of this overall campaign approach that we've used. This is a nonprofit we've worked with for the last 5 years, and this is just looking at the last 3. So in 2018, we saw 1,121 gifts and 1,257 donors. We saw a 16% increase in revenue and a 10% increase in the number of donors. In 2019, we saw a 15% increase in revenue and a 14% increase in the number of donors. And then in 2020, as we saw a huge shift to people giving online and a huge just shift overall to digital and online giving, we saw a 104% increase in revenue and a 61% increase in the number of donors. So this specific nonprofit really invested in kind of their digital approach to fundraising, and when we saw that switch in 2020, they were able to capitalize on it. So we don't see this trend really subsiding at all and only increasing. So if your organization is trying to make this switch, we really encourage it, because the majority of people moving forward are going to be giving online, and it's the best way to get in front of them. So in terms of the outline for successful year-end giving strategy, there's 4 areas. Let me see. Key metrics, so looking at your previous year's results, establishing fundraising goals, and deciding your key metrics. What are you measuring? What is successful for you as an organization? In terms of the outline of the campaign, there's the landscape, understanding what's happening in the world, the key messages, creative, building out your landing pages, email marketing and donor lists, Facebook fundraisers, and Facebook and Instagram ads. So really what we're talking about here is, you have your key metrics set up. What is the campaign going to look like? What are all the elements that are going to go into the campaign? Number 3, you want to set up your schedule for your overall campaign. Does it run from mid-October to December 31st? Or does it go from December 1st to December 30th? Really deciding that in advance. Setting any budgets for creative or digital ads in advance, so you have that and know that you don't have to go back and ask for it as the campaign's rolling forward. And then the 4th is really thinking through the activation of the campaign. How are you going to manage the campaign rolling forward? How are you going to maintain the momentum? Are there specific people or resources that you need in order to keep your year-end campaign growing throughout the season? So to start, we always like to set up Google Analytics, which is really the home of your fundraising and your outreach. Within Google Analytics, you can see, are people giving from your emails? Are people giving from your Facebook ads? Are people giving from your social media? Is it from organic traffic or a specific link that where people are coming from to your website? We've worked with numerous nonprofits that do not have their Google Analytics set up, and they don't know where their essentially where their online giving is coming from. So we always like to get this just Google Analytics set up and dialed to start. Once you have your Google Analytics set up, it's always great to kind of measure how your organization is doing against your peers. And the best way to figure out how your peers are doing are looking at these reports provided by M&R Benchmarks and Classy. M&R Benchmarks reaches out to 154 nonprofits last year, and they put all their results in it, which you can see here. So you have your Google Analytics set up, and you can see, for example, what is your average gift compared to the industry standard? How are you driving traffic? How many people are giving that come to your website, etc. And Classy, which is a donation portal, they have a they have a donation portal that a lot of nonprofits use, and they send out results throughout the year because they collect all this information from all the different nonprofits. So Classy is a really great resource, especially the blog. A couple of the key metrics that we really like to look at as we set up these digital year-end giving campaigns, we want to know what the average gift size is. And industry standard is $111 for a one-time gift and a $25 kind of reoccurring monthly donation. So if your nonprofit is only receiving $75 for a one-time gift online, it's good to investigate why. Maybe you need to increase the amounts on your donation checkout page, for example. Number two is the amount of website givers that make a donation. So how many people visit your website and how many people make a donation. And this is really great because maybe your website is too slow, maybe it's hard to find the donation page, and I think it's just an overall great metric to go back to continue to increase donations, but also improve your website presence. Email marketing, open rate, click-through rate, and response rate. How is your email marketing doing compared to industry standards? Is there opportunity to evolve? Maybe your emails are too long. Maybe it's, again, hard to find the donation button. Maybe there's not a direct ask in those emails, for example. And then number 4 is looking at your digital return on your ad spend. So most our nonprofits we work with, we always recommend doing Facebook and Google ads to really boost the awareness of their year-end giving campaigns. But the tricky part of this metric is, on average, industry standard, for every dollar you spend on Google display ads, you're going to get 68 cents back. And for every dollar you spend on social media, you're going to get 97 cents back. So what this really means is that on the first donation, you might lose a couple cents, and you're really trying to earn your profit on the second donation. So looking at this metric, it's really looking forward. How are you going to keep your donors involved? How are you going to keep people involved in your cause? And so don't get discouraged if you're not getting a dollar spent, $2 back on your digital advertising. Just really look forward and say, we're going to capture that donation on our on the next round. They're going to donate via email, etc. And then another big piece for your year-end giving campaign, again, is really tracking your results from the campaign. So as you build your campaign, you want to make sure that you have a central spot to write down what worked, what didn't, how was your email marketing outreach in the previous year, what can we do to improve it, record any press hits or big events, was there something on TV about your organization that drove a lot of donations? Maybe as you reference that next year, you can say, okay, we should focus more on PR, for example, because we saw a huge return there. And then you want to save this for future reference, so you can obviously see it again. And then we have a campaign tracker that we're going to look at that you can put all those results in and reference it in the future. Okay, so campaign setup. All the elements that go into kind of a successful year-end giving campaign. Number one, we want to look at what's happening in the world. So, for example, last year there was the election happening. This year, what is going on? We know the pandemic starting to take a step back. People are able to go home and see their families. Maybe there's opportunity there to really tweak your message around what's happening in the world to make sure it resonates with your audience, that there's an emotional hook there. And, once you have an understanding of what's happening in the world, you can really decide on what are the key messages for this year and what's a compelling look and feel for a year-end giving campaign. We always recommend giving the year-end campaigns kind of a unique look and feel so they stand out from your other marketing that happens throughout the year. And then in terms of message, we recommend keeping the message concise, very tight and very understandable. So for example, God's Love We Deliver, which is mentioned here, they do a match every year for Giving Tuesday, and it's one donation equals 2 meals. It's very easy to understand. There's not a lot of investigation there, and then people can just click and give. And looking at the schedule for your year-end campaign, this is an optional schedule, but this is one we recommend. We always like to start our year-end campaigns in late October, and we break the campaigns out into 4 phases. So phase 1 is pre-Thanksgiving through Thanksgiving. Phase 2 is Giving Tuesday. Phase 3 is post-Giving Tuesday to December 25th. Phase 4 is December 26th through January 1st. And by breaking the campaign out into these 4 phases, it allows you to really see how your message flows and tweak your message throughout the campaign. We also like to recommend matching gifts if maybe someone from your board would be interested in giving a match for one of these specific periods. It really helps to kind of raise the presence of that area so it doesn't seem like the same campaign. You're continuing to tweak it and keep it fresh for your audience. And one important element is, we always like to recommend that our organizations have a central place for their year-end campaign so people can reference it. With God's Love We Deliver, again, they're an organization who deliver meals to people who are too sick to cook or shop for themselves. And with the campaign, we build out one page on their website, and it has all the information about the specific campaign. So as you're running ads, you might be running, some of the ads to this landing page, for example, some of them to your donation page, but it's easily findable so people can find out what they're giving to, because with any of the creative, you might only see a specific blurb, and we like to expand on that. Another big piece, you want to get your email newsletters and your donor lists together well in advance, and thinking about the platforms, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Pardot, really any of the email marketing platforms, getting those set up in advance with the most current lists before the campaign starts is very valuable. So you're being proactive instead of reactive as the campaign rolls out. We've seen a lot of success from Facebook fundraisers. On average, we see about 10% of revenue come from these Facebook fundraisers, and we like to recommend breaking it out into 2 pieces. So number 1 is there's a Facebook fundraiser for the specific campaign itself. And then we like to ask or encourage the nonprofits we work with to reach out to their volunteers or their existing donors and ask them if they would make a Facebook fundraiser on behalf of the organization for the holidays. I can say with all certainty we've seen it where there is no ask and no Facebook fundraisers get made, and then there is an ask to their volunteers or donors, and some Facebook fundraisers get made. But really it's just icing on the cake, and if you don't ask, you may never know. And to boost the campaign, we recommend Facebook and Instagram ads. You don't have to start with anything, a large budget for this, but after you've put all this time into kind of creating your year-end campaign, the easiest way to get your message in front of more people is really just to create an ad set in Facebook that delivers to Facebook and Instagram. Put a little ad spend behind it and boost it up. These are especially effective if you have press or you're doing a lot of email marketing, because people will open your emails and they'll see your ads online, and they'll give. There's a marketing metric that there's usually 8 touch points before any person makes a purchase. So by leveraging Facebook, you're able to really stay in front of these people and make sure they have multiple touch points about your, to learn about your campaign and ultimately give. And Google Ad Grants is another piece of our kind of digital marketing mix that we always recommend. Google offers nonprofits $10,000 a month in free ad grants, and during the holiday seasons, we augment these, the Google Ad Grants messaging around the holiday theme for the specific organization. And the nice thing here is, really it's just free money, and you can use that $10,000 to boost your overall awareness. And if anyone needs help setting up their Google Ad Grants campaigns or applying for the ad grant, we'd be more than happy to help. And this is the campaign planner that I mentioned earlier. Within the campaign planner, you have all your emails, and we're doing this well in advance, right? So we're trying to finish this maybe October 15th before the campaign goes live, but you have all your emails listed. You have your specific message that you're going to reach out to, who your audience is, what the objective of the email is. You can go as far as to add the subject line, the call to action, and the details of the email. We don't necessarily, we don't think it's important to really draft all your emails so far in advance, but if you have this planner, you can see what's coming and continue to evolve it as you roll forward. One note here that I'd like to point out is the amount of emails that we recommend sending is usually a bit jarring to new nonprofits that maybe haven't done a big year-end giving campaign. So we see anywhere between 20 and 30 emails go out between November 1st and December 31st. A lot of times when we work with new organizations, they might send 1, 2, or 3 emails out. So really what this is saying is the intensity of the campaign, the year-end giving campaigns go up. And the bonus to that is if you do it the first year, it might be a little jarring to nonprofits, but in the second year they'll come to your donors, but in the second year they'll come to expect it. And in the third year it becomes repetitious where they know it's coming and they want to give to the campaign and they're excited about it. And this is an example of a year-end giving campaign with God's Love We Deliver that we created. You can see there's kind of fresh creative overall. It has kind of key messages for what the campaign is. It shows their volunteers, they're smiling. And we use this campaign look and feel throughout the whole season. So it crosses across your email marketing, your website, posters when you walk into the organization, your digital ads, the messaging goes into your Google Ad Grants, etc. So it's really a kind of a cohesive look overall. You can see the Facebook ads or any retargeting ads that you might be doing here. Email newsletters with the same kind of look and feel and clear message of why you should give to the year-end campaign. And this is some celebrity matching that our celebrity celebrities coming in to boost the presence of the year-end campaign for God's Love, and these matching gifts. So on the bottom left we have a matching gift for World AIDS Day, and then on the right, Giving Tuesday, we have another complimentary matching gift. Again, some more matching gift ads, but we're really trying to boost up this specific period. But again, you can kind of see that all the messaging and creative is cohesive. And social media ads, videos. We have Mark Jacobs up in the right there, but you can kind of see celebrities to boost the campaign. But again, just the amount of creative, and it's all going back to this celebrate with a plate or holiday theme for the year-end campaign. And that's it. So I hope this presentation was helpful, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out. But again, this overall kind of campaign structure we use with the majority of our nonprofits and have seen it both increase the amount of donors and donations during the year-end period. Thank you.